Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, and today guys I'm going to make a DIY video on how to data log and read and set up your graphs so you can see the parameters of your car and make sure that you're not blowing it up, guys. I'm being very serious here because a lot of people are just out here running map 7 on their red sports and putting +9 on their silver sports and not even knowing if their car is running right. Because some of you guys, I guess, are new to turbos. So, yes, and including myself, I'm new to turbo. So, I had to learn quickly because I don't want to cause any damage to something that doesn't belong to me. If this car belongs to you, then you even want to treat it even better. All right, for some of the guys who also new to this channel that are from all other auto manufacturers, this is a good video because it also allows you to look up to certain parameters for your vehicle too from the Audis and BMWs, okay? So, if you can, hang in there and watch this video. Please hit the subscribe button with the little bell, okay? I make a lot of information on the JB4, but I also have my own, Infinity channel too that going on here. All right, guys, let's jump right into it. You guys already know how to connect to your car, so you'll be already connected. All right. Now, for you to do a proper log, most manufacturers sit there and say, do it in a 1-to-1 gear ratio. That means that you do it in the longest gear necessary that you can actually read from the lowest RPM to the highest RPM. So, in the Q50, Q60, it is 4th gear. Okay, guys? Now, unless you guys have an empty roadway or airport or fast and furious runway, okay, I'm going to need you guys to do it in 3rd gear because I don't want you guys out there breaking the rules and getting tickets because y'all trying to download your car, okay? All right, so do it in 3rd gear. You'll do a roll from right around 30 RPM, 30 miles per hour to about 80 miles an hour, okay? In a 3rd gear. Make sure your traction control is off, an empty road, and just do a nice smooth gear pull in manual mode. Give a nice amount of gas all the way to full open throttle and just let it rev out. You can do this 2 or 3 times just so you can get a good reference and variables, okay? Now, once the log is finished done, you're going to go to logs. And you're going to have 2 options on how to read a log, okay? You're going to have the option 1, which is graph. Graph is going to show you the colorful squiggly lines, right, guys? And you have preview, which is going to show you an actual chart with numbers, okay? So some people like pictures and lines and stuff, so I'm going to press on graph because graph could be the easiest way for you guys, all right? All right, let's look at this log. All right, this log is the graph with the lines and everything like that, and you guys are going to sit there saying, okay, I see a legend, and it has RPM and boost, but can you break down what does this stuff mean, and why should I care? So you're going to go to the right and the right to the top, and you're going to press on a little circle gear. Now it's going to have different parameters here, okay, that you can check and check off the parameters. So I'm going to let you guys know what I look at and what I have up. You have AFR. That means air-fuel ratio, okay? So air-fuel ratio is right around perfect air-fuel ratio with all the gasoline burnt up by the oxygen is right around 14 parts air or gas, whatever. But it's around 14, okay? And AFR 2 is 1 bank. So the reason why you see AFR 1 and 2 is 1 is reading passenger side and 1 is reading driver's side, okay? Because remember, you have 2 different exhaust outlets for this car, okay? So you want to make sure those air-fuel ratios are right, okay? You have average ignition timing. You can check it in, but I don't like how it comes up as a really green line here. It's very confusing. So I use a different method later on in this video. You have boost 1 and boost 2. You're going to see, once again, this is passenger and driver side turbo. This is what the map sensor is reading that is achieved. Your achieved boost pressure from your turbos, okay? Passenger and driver side. You have clock, never tried it. DME, never tried it. Do the cycle, doesn't work. E85 doesn't work. This stuff isn't open for us yet because they're still in the production model of, of way of pretty much producing this so that we can be able to run this stuff a little later down the line or mixtures and everything. All right. You have ECU PSI. This is very important. So this definitely has to be checked. It lets you know what the ECU is calling for. Okay. So if you have a red sport, like I said, red sports usually call right around that 12 to 15 PSI, right? And silver sports right around that 8 to 10, that 7 to 10 PSI, okay? You have FF, don't know what that means. Fuel pressure, this one high pressure fuel pump, low pressure fuel pump, they are not working currently right now. There's no pinouts for them, so not available. Fuel ignition is not available. Gear doesn't work, but miles per hour does. IAT doesn't show up properly on the graph, but it does show up properly on the graph with the actual numbers. Now, ignition timing 1 through 6 is for each cylinder. Okay, guys? You can press ignition timing combined, which helps out. Just put it all together. But I usually leave an ignition timing 1 because I like to see, I like the nice red line it puts across the screen because I have the black background. You have low, which isn't working at this point. MEF isn't. Our miles per hour is, but you need to care for that right now. Oil temp is not working right now as one of the parameters we could look at. Pedal is working, but I don't need that up there because I'm going to show you why later. RPM, definitely important because you want to see your RPM range. Target, this lets you know how much PSI you're putting above factory. So if the computer ECU is calling for 10 and you want 7, it shows you that you're putting 7, okay? And you have throttle. You can leave throttle up here if you really want to. I'm going to take it off, but throttle is pretty much going to shoot up to 100%, which is going to be at the top of the graph. Waste of time. You have transmission temp. Now, this isn't actually transmission temperature, okay? This, because Burger Tuning doesn't have a pinout for what I'm going to say next, transmission temp is actually rename it is your heat exchanger coolant temperature. So it's the coolant temperature for your heat exchanger because they're different. Your water temp and your coolant temp are totally different, so they're having no pinouts for it right now. Trims is just like AFR, but most better mechanics and tuners go off of fuel trims because it's just pretty much if your fuel trim is smooth and not jumping all the way around, it's not as sporadic as looking at a bunch of numbers going from 14 to 12 to 10. It's a little easier just to see the smooth line going up and down with trims. Okay, guys? So anything with trims that is, well, I'll get into that later. You have trims 2, which is also bank 1 and bank 2. Let me move this out the way. Bank 1 and bank 2. And you have water temperature, which is your coolant temp, and wastegate duty cycle, which doesn't work right now. Finally, wide open throttle is only going to show you 100% throttle pedal. So this is why I don't press on the throttle or pedal, because wide open throttle pretty much excuse me guys, it also breaks up the graph that it only shows me those full wide open throttle pulls, okay? So now let's go back to the graph. So now that we're looking at the graph, you can pinch and it's together so you can see the full graph. All right, guys. So let's start with RPM. RPM is the green. It comes from 2250 all the way up to 4750, okay? This isn't a proper gear pull. I'm just using it as a quick example because it's very simple, okay? Now, you have that. Then you have the boost. You have the boost, the 2 boost 1 and boost 2, right? That shows you that if you read it, you have to read it from the right to left, okay? And I don't mean the starting is from the right to left, but you go off the numbers from 0 to 50 on the right, and that is what the achieved boost is. So if you look at those blue lines and you look at the numbers on the right, you can see that at the higher RPM, I almost hit 15 PSI right around 4750, okay? And then when you go down, you can see the numbers are getting lower and lower, okay? Because they're lower RPM. Now, the second thing, the target. Remember I said the target is also going to come up there as a pink line. And you can see that my target was going down and down with the higher RPM. I believe that this was map 7. I can't remember. But you can see that at the lower RPM it was 7. And when it went lower, it went down to 5. All right. Now you have your AFR. AFR1 and AFR2. You can see that when you read it from right to left, you can see that it's right around that 15 AFR. It went to 16 a little bit, then it dropped down to like 12 and 13-ish at the end, okay? Some of you guys are going to sit there and say, well, why is it doing that? What am I looking at? Why do I care? Remember, the perfect air-fuel ratio is right around 14.5 or 14.1 or whatever. So 15, me giving a little wide open throttle, made it go a little bit above. So any number above 14, I think it's 14.1 or 14.2, can't remember, guys, is more on a lean mixture, okay? It's goes more lean, and anything below 14, it goes to a rich mixture. With turbo vehicles, you want the exhaust or the combustion chamber to be more on the rich side because you're dealing with really hot turbine charged air, which causes pre-detonation and causes your car to run like crap and go pop to the point that one day it will go pop. Okay, so typically with the JB4, you're gonna see that the air and fuel ratio is always gonna dip into like the low 12s and even the mid 11s at higher RPM. That is because we're not necessarily tuning the car, but we're going off the stock tune maps based on load and everything. So it's okay, guys. You're gonna see it dip to mid 12. You're gonna see it dip to low 12s, mid 11s. Okay, it's all good. Don't worry about it. As long as you're not going from 14 to 16 and 17 at wide open throttle, guys. I'm talking about wide open throttle where you're going all the way up and it's going 16, 17. Then you would have an issue. But because the extra fuel actually cools the cylinder walls and it cools exhaust gases, don't worry. That's how most of these stock tunes come anyway. They want the car to be more on the rich side, okay? So let's continue. All right, so you have AFR1 and AF2. Then you have trims. You see how the trim comes from right around 25, which is 25 is about 14, okay, in AFR. And it goes up and up. That means that you're going to a more rich mixture, which goes up to 45, okay, guys? This is fine. It's okay that's going up. It's decently smooth, not too jagged. It's okay. That's just the way the trims are set up. Then you have ECU, PSI. You can see that it's the white line. It's going to be the same at the bottom because you're not really aiming for no targets. But sooner or later, once the turbo starts spooling up, you're going to see that blue line separate from that white. That is the turbo spooling up, 1. 2, that means your boost targets are also starting to kick in. So you can see at 10.4, I'm calling for about 6 PSI above stock, probably 6 or 7. And the turbos are spooling up now. So they're like, all right, cool. We're going to start giving him 10, 11-ish, whatever. You can also see that there's a slight split there. A little separation. From what I'm learning, sometimes the turbos, there's like a lead and lag turbo. I don't know why, but I've noticed in other people's data logs that sometimes there is a split in efficiency where one turbo just speeds up a bit quicker than the next. I'm very confused about that. And I've even seen it in the ECU Tech one. So I don't know why it does that, but that's what I'm learning. All right, guys. So now we have the ECU. We have the ECU boost and everything. You see we achieved about 10 at 10.4. Okay. So some of you guys are like, all right, so now that I know what these squiggly lines are, what should I really care about? Okay, guys? What should you care about? All right. There's that red one, and I save it for last. Ignition timing. This is very important. All right, so ignition timing is pretty much, think about it like this. The spark plug ignites, right? When the piston comes up, and when it goes up, it has the downstroke, right? And that's when it's pulling in the air and all that other good stuff, right? But there's also a certain period where the spark plug needs to ignite, and when it ignites with that fuel, when it's on the downstroke, it needs to repeat. It needs to be able to push down on the piston, but just keep it within timing because the fuel needs to ignite and have a full burn, right? If it doesn't have enough time to have a full burn, guess what happens? You have you either have a really rich mixture. Remember, 12s are not too bad, 11s are not that bad. But it could be a really bad mixture where it's 9s and 8s, and you don't want that. And also, it takes a certain amount of time for the fuel to burn. Okay, so at lower RPM idle, it's really easy. The timing is going to be really easy for the car to do. It's going to have depending on whatever the timing retard is, depending on load and everything in the heat outside, the car is going to automatically set its timing. But as the RPM range increases, usually timing does retard, especially at wide open throttle. So you can see that with this car, it starts right around 23 degrees of timing. If you read from right to left, not from left to right, that's right around that 3,500 RPM. And it dips down. From what was told to me and what I read, it is not really good to have 3 degrees of timing being pulled so aggressively and so quick. So I've come from right about 23 all the way down to like 14 within like 1,000 RPM. So this is wide open throttle. So I believe this could definitely happen from what I've been reading. So it pulled like that. But if it would have started coming up later on, I'd have been like, yeah. But you know what, to be honest, this wasn't a good one. This wasn't a good one. This could be based on fuel too. I might have been on 93. I think I was on 93 here. It was really hot outside. Like really, really hot. So I'm not too mad about this. But when the timing keeps going down and down and down like that, guys, it's a no-no. You want if the timing is going to be pulled, right, you want it to come back up at the higher RPM. So let me see if I can find another data log where timing was doing its proper job and getting everything done. Give me a second. Graph. Nope, that is not a good one. Come on, guys, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. You guys are probably like, what's going on here? Why am I seeing all this stuff on the screen? Let me know what's going on. Give me a second, guys. I want to show y'all the proper way that it gets done. Okay. This one's a little, nope, just as bad. This is all my data logging, guys. Just trying to see if the car is running properly, car is running right. Some of this is just saved by accident. So bear with me, bear with me. All right, I gotta find the good one. Okay, so this one was from 2200 all the way to red line and then a gear change. Okay, so this one's gonna be a good example of what you're gonna probably see when you do your third gear roll. So this was definitely a third gear roll on 93, I remember. Now see that the timing came from right around 18 degrees, right? And that squiggly line dropped down to about 8 degrees, right around 16, right? But notice as the RPM started going up, the timing started going up with the RPM. That is called timing retard. Reason it's doing that is it's trying to keep up, making sure that it's lighting the air fuel ratio proper and trying to aim for those decent air fuel ratio and more on the rich side. You can also see that the trims also came from that 25 and they went up to more of the rich setting. Okay, so remember, if your ignition timing pulls back a little bit, it does kind of suck, but you want it to always still slope up towards the RPM closer to the end of the range. So it started sloping up right around 4,500. That's when the turbos really are at their max efficiency or already boosted, or they pretty much spooled all the way up and it started going up and up and up. Okay. You can also see here that my boost targets were hitting still a little low here. I think it was a really hot day. 7 around 24. I'm hitting right around 7 ECU, and my boost target is right around 6, and I'm getting right around 14, 13 or whatever. All right. Now, you see the gear shift here, right? You see my RPM goes up, and you see the green part dip down. But then you also see the fuel trims dip down, and then you also see the ignition timing dip down, right? And you see these changes, and you also see, you see those changes. You're like, what is that? Remember, when you're changing gear, the throttle bodies actually close. They do. Whenever you're changing gear, the throttle bodies will close a little bit. That's just the way the car is set up on stock tune. So you're going to see fuel either be cut or drop down to 0. You're going to see ignition timing get changed because there's not really igniting any fuel, right? Now, if you want to take a better look, some of you guys could sit there and see that the air fuel ratio kind of bumps up a little bit to like 15. But notice how my air fuel ratio is right around that 14, 13 area. So that's not too bad. If you look more early at around 16, it seems like it went more to like a 16. That could be because the turbos really started pulling a lot of quick air, and the computer was just trying to change around the airflow just to help it. Excuse me, guys. And some of you guys might also sit there, which is the craziest thing here, on the gear change. You see how the boost pressures are kind of different between the two turbos. Some people are very worried about that. I'm still very worried about it, but I'm just showing y'all that the boost pressure may spike or may jump around or fluctuate through gear changes because the turbo isn't, well, we don't have any blow valves or diverter valves to recirculate the air. So the air literally just stays in a manifold or bounces back towards the turbo. Like really, like it's a real thing. It's annoying. Infinity should have built in some kind of a recirculation system, a diverter system, or a blow-off valve system. All right. Okay. So, but notice that my ignition timing dipped down from 1918, and its changes are about aggressive, but they started coming back up at the lower end, which isn't too bad. So this one isn't a perfect this one isn't a perfect data log, but from what I can see here, everything seems running like it's running right. Even in the gear changes, the fuel trims are more on the rich side a bit, and everything seems to be perfectly okay. Even when you look at the gear changing, which is a little off with those boost pressures, but to me, it's still good. Okay, guys? Now, you guys probably want me, okay, can you show me the graph part? Because I want to see numbers. These squiggly lines are getting on my nerves. Okay. So you're going to go to Preview CSV Viewer. Depending on if you have Google or Android, you have to download the app. There's plenty of apps that do it. It's like its own, like, I forgot what it is, guys, but I'm going to show you right now. You guys know what it is. This is going to show you the different pinouts. So you have your RPM range, right? RPM range, ECU. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. It is being annoying. Okay. You have your RPM range, your ECU, your target, your boost, your pedal reading, your ambient temperatures, the IATs. That's going to show you the air temperature going in towards the turbo, pre-turbo. Fuel ignition is not working. Wastegate duty cycle is not working. Throttle. You see how it comes from 2 to 100. Okay. High pressure fuel pump not working. Ignition is going to come up a bit as time. Ignition timing. You have your average ignition not coming up. You have your calculated torque that doesn't come up as of not now. Shows you your trims. The DMT is not working. Math. Low pressure fuel pump. AFR for one bank. Gear doesn't work. FF doesn't work. Load. Seems like it definitely does work here, but it doesn't come up on a map. It shows you your clock, your map you're running. This was map 7. Your air fuel 2, which is the other bank, and ignition timing 2 through 6 doesn't come up. Your oil pressure or your oil temperature does not come up. Water temp does. Notice how it goes up as I start to floor it. Trans F. Remember, that's your charge air coolant temp. So yeah, you can see it's freaking hot. Okay, so this is heat soaked, but notice how it came from 230 all the way down to 220, 208. But that's freaking hot. Okay, that's stifling hot. Okay, so I was heat soaked, guys. It says E8513. I don't know why it's saying 13, but it doesn't work. And you have boost pressure 2, and you have trims and miles an hour. See how the miles an hour actually work? It shows? Okay, cool. So briefly, just to break this one down, it's going to show you different increments. And it's going to show you your ECU, PSI, and target, which is the left column. This left column here. You can also move the columns around, guys. So let me just briefly show you how to move the columns around. So you can press on the H and the J and all that nonsense and just move it over. That's it. Just press it and move it over. Okay, so if you want to move things over, just press on the letter, okay? All right. So you have your target, your ECU, your target, and your boost, okay? So notice that at 6275 through 75, my ECU was calling out 6.4, right? And my target on top of that was 6.1. And my achieved was 11.8. Okay, guys? That's 11.8. Okay? And then the next increment was 66.62, which is 5.5. My target was 5.8, and I was 9.6. And then now the gear changes have changed, but we're not going to get into that part. But I just briefly want to just show you how to read this part so you can just do your own addition. The numbers will be off a little bit. You would have numbers that's going to say 6.2, 5.9. It's going to do this. Understand your boost targets, which will be your boost is not going to be perfect, okay? No matter what you do, guys, like on a stock ECU, you have boost spikes. You have boost readings that are going to be a little bit above, a little bit below. It's just what it is. We're dealing with electronic wastegates here. We're not dealing with manual ones. We're also talking about our wastegates aren't even sides big enough. So you're going to have situations where you have boost creeps above what you need be. These turbines are spinning up to 200,000 RPMs. We're not going to get it perfect here, okay, guys? You're going to have boost spikes on stock ECU. You're going to have boost spikes on JB4, and you're going to have boost spikes on ECU Tech tunes, okay? Okay, so the other things you want to look at is your ITs. You're going to see that they go down. Your throttles, you're going to make sure that's in a proper. I usually don't really care too much about this one so much because I usually just look at the map and I already have all of what I need on the map. But it does let you know more of what were your achieved and how can you adjust like your map 6 so that you can kind of know when you do repetitive runs, do you need to use map 6 and add more PSI? Because understand that we're going to make more boost right around that 4,000 to 5,000 RPM because that's when our turbines are at their best. So that's when most people try to put the most greedy amount of PSI over stock. That's why you see at 4,600, the ECU is calling for the ECU Tech is sending out, not the ECU Tech, the JB4 is sending out 7, and the computer is sending out 6.4. And at 5,000, the computer is sending out 7, and the JB4 is sending out 7. So we achieved our best PSI right around that 50 to 6 to that 4,000 to 6,000 RPM ish. Understand, you will get way more than this. My car was heat soaked in this situation, so that's a lot of why it is the way it is. Okay, guys. So otherwise than that, hopefully I answered a lot of y'all guys' questions and showed y'all what y'all need to know. Okay, guys. I really try to be as detailed as I can if possible. This is the way I dialogue my car to see if it's running right. Understand that you're gonna see boost spikes and gear changes. Okay, guys, because it's no blow-up valve system. Understand that pay attention to the transmission temp. That's really your coolant temp for your heat exchangers. Understand the temperature will go up as you drive the car. It will go up. And also on top of that, when you turn the car off, it will go up because the pumps don't keep going. It turns off. So it's like literally putting boiling water on top of something already boiling. So the temperature of that is going to get hot if you come to the car in the next hour. The temperature is going to be even hotter because you literally had the coolant sitting on top of a hot engine boiling. You can't do nothing about it, okay, guys? Also, stop running if you're going to run 7 PSI or map 7 on your Red Sports, guys, just data log it, please. Data log it, please. Because your guys are pushing this excessive PSI, and the car is going to be faster, but you don't know if it's having any knock or pre-detonation, which we can't read with the JB4. You don't know how the car is running. Like, you feel like the car is fast, of course, but you don't know if the car is running right. You don't know what the air-fuel ratio is. You know what I'm saying? Your air-fuel ratio might be really low, 10s and 11s. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Your air-fuel ratio might be so high. Your air-fuel ratio might be up to 16, 17. You don't even know. Your ignition timing might come all the way from 20 degrees to 0 at high RPM. That means that the car, you're literally wasting gas. You're wasting gas because you're not burning up all the fuel. It doesn't make sense to do that, okay? It makes sense to pull the PSI back so that you're actually getting the proper burn from the gasoline and the air-fuel ratio, okay, guys? It just makes more sense, all right? All right, so this is Boost in Motion. I hope this video helps whoever watches it. I just appreciate y'all very much. Sorry for making the video long and boring, and I know you only want to listen to my voice, but I hope that I taught you what you can know, and just leave comments below. If I missed something, I have JB4 people that's on this video. Comment below, maybe I might have missed something, but appreciate you very much. You guys have an amazing, beautiful day, evening, and night, all right? Please subscribe, hit that like button, please. And if you have a dislike, I understand. Love you guys. Thank you.